What's up, friends? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. One thing you can say, well, you can say a lot of things about me, but not working is not one of them, because I'm going to work and work and work at my day job, at being a husband, at being a father, my hobbies, and the YouTube. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Look at this. My invention. This piece, along with a bunch of other pieces, will go together. Look at that. Look at that. You see how tight that is? No glue. I probably, could probably send these to you and say, you got to assemble these suckers. But that's pretty cool. This is going to be a hat rack. I'm actually making some, Greg, it's your fault because you said you got too many hats. I'm still trying to figure out how to make a star hat rack and all that, but here it is. You finally start getting something down and people want you to change what you're doing. But this will be a bigger football that'll hold 6 hats. And it's cool because the hats go in here and they'll actually be out so you can see what's on the hat. So if you got Dallas Cowboys or Eagles suck, whatever, you can read all the hats like that and they go on the back of the football. But you got to, I got to cut out a lot of different pieces. So you take a solid piece of wood and then you got to drill holes in it, and then you got to cut the shapes on it, then you got to sand it, and then you got to put the pieces together, and patang, before you know it, you got the whole thing done. So that's what I got. So here's the gist of this video. What's interesting is this. We got Cowboy fans that are, of course, feeling way down right now, and I can understand why you're feeling down. We're sitting here watching other teams in the playoffs, and here we are sucking. As always, sucking. And you think about next year, fans are like, oh man, we're screwed. We're going to be screwed up next year. Next year's going to stink. Cowboys can't get better. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. I want you to think back to about a year ago. A year ago, the Texans had won their first playoff game. Deshaun Watson was about to get a big, fat contract. Bill O'Brien was about to be given the keys to the Texans because he was going to become one of those few coaches / GMs. They're going to make him the GM of the organization as well as the head coach, because they looked at it and said, hey, he's a Bill Parcells guy. We won a playoff game. We just finished 10-6, and future's bright. If you were the Philadelphia Eagles, you were feeling pretty good. You thought, well, if Carson Wentz hadn't gotten that concussion, who knows? Maybe we could have made it to the divisional round or maybe the championship round. The team has made it to the playoffs 3 years in a row with a Super Bowl on our resume. Figured, future's bright. If you were the San Francisco 49ers, you're about to play in a Super Bowl where you made Pat Mahomes look human. And if it weren't for a great fourth quarter from him, you would have taken home the Lombardi Trophy. But here it is. All 3 of those franchises, it's doom and gloom. 2 of them are still looking for new coaches. They were up here last year, feeling great about themselves. Going into this season, people were wondering, hey, can the 49ers get back there? People were thinking, the Texans are about ready to take the next step. Oh, Carson Wentz, great quarterback there. But here's the thing about the NFL, the not-for-long league. Turnover is king. I don't know why we forget this. I've said it a million times, but half of the teams, for the most part, that make the playoffs one year, don't the next. The teams that you think are going to be great next year, they're going to be terrible. Because it's a vicious cycle of up and down unless you're like New England. New England is that team that doesn't rise and fall. They stay pretty consistent with the exception of this year. But I still say that this is by design for Bill Belichick. This is the redshirt year to get ready to start the next new dynasty because they're flush with draft picks, with cash, and players that are going to be coming back that are going to be healthy. But thinking about Tampa Bay in the championship game, Tampa Bay, last year they were a playoff team. Thinking about Baker Mayfield, last year this time we were saying, Baker Mayfield, Faker Mayfield. Maybe this guy is just not that guy. He's not mature enough. He's doing too many ads. And it's the same old Browns. But yet they had a chance to beat the defending Super Bowl champions yesterday. And come next year, you look at New Orleans. New Orleans won't have Drew Brees. New Orleans is probably going to have to cut the roster because they have so many players that are, they're so far over the cap. You look at the Eagles who, 3 years in a row, playoffs, in the basement. You don't necessarily see them just climbing out of the basement. They somehow went from being the shining star franchise to the second worst job in the NFL, behind the Texans who were up there last year. Now, it's funny because you go back for us, 2015 was an abysmal year because we lost Tony Romo. We couldn't win games. And I know the contrarians out there say, well, we won games with Andy Dalton, so he's better than Dak Prescott. And it's just like, I just can't. I just can't with you guys. Not today. Not today. But they came back in 2013 and went from worst to first in the division, 13-3. That same year, the Philadelphia Eagles were worse in the division. They come back the next year and they win their very first Super Bowl. This sucks this year. I know it was bad. It was hard to watch. I still miss watching the Cowboys. I know watching the games last night, I would have rather have watched my Cowboys lose a game, and at least I'm looking at my team, than watching other teams play. I can tell you that for sure. But in the grand scheme of things, next year should be the turnaround year. High draft picks. People aren't looking at you and saying that's the team to beat because, see, now Washington's got the target on their back. A little easier of a schedule. And more importantly than anything else, what this should be is a slice of humble pie for the players on the team. They should look back and say, I don't want to have that feeling again. I need to work harder to make sure that we get shit right. And you get to refocus, because sometimes when you, and this has been the Dallas Cowboys history for quite a while of the last 25 years. When you're close to the playoffs, or if you're in the playoffs, you have this mentality that we're close. Don't change a lot of things. You're 8-8. Man, if we had just won this game and that game, we would have had a chance. And you stay the course and figure, we won't change what we're doing. But when you get demoralized and have an awful season, then you start to question everything. You start looking at every aspect of everything that goes on. And that's going to be a good thing. And that's going to be the thing that's going to help get the Cowboys in a better position next year. So that's what I've got to say is going to be a better thing for the Cowboys going forward. Still sucks. Still hate having a season like this, but it is what it is. Now, I want to get back later. I've got to read it first. But Mike Nolan was talking today about things that he wants to do with the defense and the evaluation process. And from the little excerpts that I got from it, I got to tell you, I like hearing him. And they remind me of that clip that people keep saying, why he keeps showing that clip? But he talks about the same kind of stuff when he was the defensive coordinator of the Legion of Boom. Fast and hard hitting. I like that. All right, hope you guys have a great day. I got to go over here and cut some more wood. Got to cut all these things out now.